Good morning and welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. This is A Country Life, and today is basically the second day of cranberry harvest. So yesterday Warren was flooding, raking ditch edges. Peter was helping with picking up pipe as well. Warren was doing that too, and just dealing with a lot of water. I shouldn't say it like that, actually dealing with too little of water. We have been in such a drought since, I mean, it really started in June, wouldn't you say? And we just, every time there was some rain coming our way, it would split and go around our county. It has just been, it's been bad. We are definitely 3 feet down, maybe even more on our reservoir. Warren said he has not seen a situation at our place like this since 1988. I'll catch you up on that a little bit, but I am in the kitchen working on some things. A couple of our older kids, their fiancés, families that are coming over today to help with picking up pipe and maybe booming. They might be booming a bed as well. And so I'm making zucchini chocolate chip muffins. The other day I offered Nick a zucchini and he's like, I don't really want the zucchini, but if you would happen to make some of those muffins or bread, I would take that. So I thought, you know what? Everybody loves zucchini chocolate chip muffins. I've made these so many times here on my channel. I'm making a triple today because I had a zucchini that has yielded 3 cups of shreds. So yeah, this is on page 42, and let me just show you zucchini chocolate chip muffins. This is in cookbook number 1 on page 42 if you like to follow along. So I have all of the wet ingredients in ×3. I'm going to get this mixed up, and then we are going to add in the dry ingredients. Baking soda? Ooh! Ooh, I'm going to use some right now because I still have my morning coffee.
Yeah. So.
Is this, did you put this recipe in the newsletter?
Last year, I know.
Okay, so last year Emily put this recipe in the newsletter. This is a pumpkin cold foam. I'm trading her a jar of salsa for this pumpkin cold foam. How much do I put in, Emily? And you just let it go on top. I've never used cold foam.
As much as you want.
Does that look good?
Oh, I usually put way more than that.
More than that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then do I stir it?
Yeah.
You stir it in?
Cool. After I'm done.
I have not been using creamer for like over a year now, so
Almost done.
I just, whoa, I guess. Okay, so I kind of stir it. Is it going to leave a mustache?
I always drink it usually in my cold.
Oh. Oh, that's good. Is there any sugar in there?
Maple syrup.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's good. I thought it was going to be really sweet. It's not sweet. Delicious. You guys got to try that. Cinnamon. I need a tablespoon of cinnamon.
All the time. Alright, I'm doing there.
If you have ever struggled with getting your like muffins even, getting the batter in evenly, I would suggest something like this. This is like just an extra large scoop. It works really great for making sure everything is even so that they bake evenly. Because you know, it's really a bummer when it's uneven amounts and then you end up with some overdone muffins because the bigger ones had to cook longer. Okay, I have about 10 minutes before the last pan of muffins comes out of the oven, so I did just bring up some tomato sauce as well as 1 jar of spaghetti sauce, and I'm going to get that into my crock pot here. Let me show you. Well, first I just want to point out I'm using liners. I have been back into using liners, at least remembering. I always have them. I just forget. But it just saves so much time. So, and I might have a code for Cintas liners. I'm not sure. If I do have a code, I'll leave it in the description box below. So if you are looking for liners, check that out. So out of cookbook number 2 on page 20, if you're following along, I'm going to be putting together mushroom beef spaghetti sauce. I'm not going to follow my recipe, okay? And the reason is, one, I'm not going to put in the mushrooms. I just don't like mushrooms. Also, it calls for 2 cans of diced tomatoes, 1 can of tomato paste, and 1 can of tomato sauce. What I'm going to do is just all of this, the tomato sauce and the spaghetti sauce, that's going to be my tomato for this recipe. If you're buying your tomatoes from the store, then follow right along like this. It'll work out just perfectly, obviously. But if you have home canned tomato products, just kind of do your best to make it about this amount. I have to put in some beef broth, which I'm just going to use a beef bouillon cube and a cup of water. And then from there, all of the other things are going to be the same. Sorry, can you guys see that? And then after the beef broth, everything else is going to be the same. That smells so good. I will put a half a cup of the water in this jar and a half a cup in my quart jar to rinse these jars out, and then the beef bouillon cube I'll just put right into the crock pot. All my onions are down in the garden, so I'm just going to use some minced onion here because I am kind of in a time crunch here, just a little bit. I want to get down in the marsh and just kind of like see what everybody is doing down there, as well as get some video of that. At this point, I'm just going to stir this around using my measuring spoon here. And then I'm going to put in a bag of already just frozen meatballs from the freezer department at the grocery store. This is delicious if you use ground beef. Ground venison is what I always use when I make this. It's really delicious like that. Use a little bit of bacon grease when you're frying up the meat. Use a fresh onion when you're frying up the meat. It just really adds to the flavor. But like I said, I sometimes like to just keep a few convenience items because it's helpful. And Peter likes to say sometimes when I'm doing something like that, he always will say, "And Mom, nobody will be sad about it." Everybody loves meatballs. That's it. Set it on a high. Let it go until it's done. There's the timer for it. The muffins, if we weren't going to be eating until later in the day, which I honestly have not a clue what time we're going to be eating today. It could be a 1 o'clock meal. It could be a 4 o'clock meal. I just have no idea. That's why I'm going to set this, let's set it on to high. That's why I'm going to set the crock pot to high, just so that if people are ready to eat early, then the food is ready. I think the other day I made some chicken and I told you that I used this new spice mix that I bought. I bought it at our farmer's market. So it's Sissy's Secret Spice and it's called Red's Pot Pie. And so anyway, it is sugar-free, gluten-free, no MSG, diabetic friendly, sold by weight. Okay, so I bought this and she had a whole bunch of samples. She had like hundreds of spice blends. So she had a bunch of samples that you could either sprinkle on your hand to taste or you could just smell them. Well, I smelled this one and I was like, oh, that is so good. And so I bought this. I just want to point out that the first ingredient in this spice mix is mushroom powder.
Ew, gross.
And I really like this. So anyway, I'm gonna make chicken again. It's kind of like the other meal that I'm gonna make here so that we make sure that we have enough food for everyone. And I'm making my oven fried chicken, a half teaspoon of black pepper, and then is it 1 or 2 teaspoons? I know you guys make it all the time too, so you might be able to tell me, but I'll look. And then if it's 1 teaspoon of salt, I'll do 1 teaspoon of this. I did this the other day and it was really, really good. Everyone was like, oh, that's delicious, Mom. No one said, oh, it tastes a little bit different. I could tell there was a little, just kind of took it up a notch. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do here today. So when you're making Grandma's oven fried chicken, you do not want to say, oh, I have skin on the chicken, I'm not going to add the butter. You have to add the butter. You have to. So I have the butter melting. And then you're going to want to put this skin side down in the melted butter. This is my big 10 by 15 inch glass Pyrex pan, and this was a family pack. So 3, 6, 9, 10 large chicken thighs, and it fits in here really well. So I have these all skin side down. This will go in a 350-degree oven for a half an hour. Then I will flip them over and it'll go for another half an hour. And then the nice thing about this chicken is that it only gets better the longer that it's in. So if you're not ready to eat, it's done, like the second side is done. Just usually what I will do is just turn the oven down to like 300 degrees and leave it in there with that skin side up, and then just kind of just let it go until I think that we're going to be ready to eat. So obviously you're not going to want to leave it in for another 2 hours. But what I'm saying is that if it's done and you're just like, well, you know, nobody is in from doing their farm work or whatever, it can stay in the oven for another half an hour at 300 degrees, or just turn the oven off even and just let it be in there. Don't open the oven so that all that heat stays in there, and then just let it sit in there. It's still going to be just delicious. That is the nice thing about this chicken, is that it can be kept for a while. Okay, it is now 10:35 and I want to get down on the marsh. I want to see how everybody is doing down there. My grandkids are down there experiencing the excitement of harvest. I do have to say it is not an exciting time for Warren right now. He came in, he's really feeling the pressure and the heaviness of no water right now, and there's just a lot of extra work that goes into having no water. He's having to reroute water. Well, when I go for a walk, I'll explain it to you guys. And not all water, like reservoirs, ponds, lakes, they're not just all like shallow going to a perfect deep area and then perfectly stepping back up into a shallow area. Sometimes there can be like a little hummock out there or something. And so we have some areas out here where the ground is higher, and so what's happening is there's water that's getting trapped on the other side of that higher ground, and it's not able to get over to where we need the water. So Warren is having to route water all the way around the marsh. We have like a series of ditches that go around the marsh. So he's having to route that water all the way around the marsh to the ditch over here. And it's coming into this ditch, which is not very full, you guys. Normally when Warren is pumping the water back, wow, there's a lot of water down there, and there's just not right now. So what's happening is then he's pumping that. There is a tube that goes underground over here, and then it comes out right there. He's pumping the water into this section so it can feed that bulkhead right there to move back over into that area. So anyway, it is quite an ordeal this year, and this is only the second day of challenges. So there's been a lot of prayers sent up for sure this year. One, that we would just get some rain, and the second prayer is that we would just have smooth sailing when it comes to rerouting the water, the existing water that we do have. Of course, this all comes with extra time It all comes with extra cost. Diesel fuel, all fuel, it's expensive. So, I mean, it's gonna get done, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be some stressful times. But yeah, we'll get through it. I see my grandson running towards me, and I remember my grandma sharing a story about my mom and I walking to her place of work when I was a little girl, and me running towards my grandma when I saw her coming out of her work building. Hey, bud! And she always told that story with such joy in her voice.
But he didn't like it. He said it's too sour.
Shirt off, but she's convinced she's got to keep it on.
Oh.
Ainsley, should we sing some more songs? Okay.
If I just give it a little toss. Perfect, thank you. That's an apple.
John doesn't have one.
No, apple.
Doesn't have one. Okay, buddy.
All right, well, this is what lunch is looking like. We have the chicken, some salad, pickles. I cooked up some spaghetti to go along with the sauce, and the meatballs. Must have got down here right when he was done with this bed. That's just a washcloth.
I was going to eat that. Oh, I'll eat this.
Yeah, field delivery. I brought you a wet washcloth to eat.
Well, I was going to take a bite.
Oh, goodness. I didn't know how much you wanted, so I kind of made it a small.
Yeah, it's
I made
perfect.
it just a small amount.
That's great.
But there was more if you wanted more.
I eat too much, it slows me down.
Yep.